It's another Wednesday random review, and this time I'm answering another request, because I tend to do that from time to time. This one came in from the mighty Hursticon. Thank you very much. He wanted to see me review my favorite of the RID Autobot Brothers, RID being the old one, not the new one, because apparently I reviewed too many of those, so people want to see me go old school RID. And in that case, we're going to talk about X-Brawn, which is my favorite. And to be fair, it really shouldn't be, because he doesn't have the cool homage decos that the other ones have, and he doesn't turn into some cool sports car. Instead, he's an SUV, and he's very much a 2000s SUV. 4-door, space for the kids, roomy trunk, spare tire on the back. That's a little strange, but you know what? Whatever. I liked him as a kid because he was the green one. It was pretty much that simple. But I like him a lot more these days for the uniqueness he brings and the fact that he's not soul-crushingly difficult to transform. I'm looking at you, Sideburn. Don't make me come over there. But as you can see, yeah, he's a pretty standard silver SUV. What I really like about this is it's a nice shade of silver all around, and it's kind of a necessity. A lot of this toy is cast in translucent clear plastic, and that means a lot of this is painted on. Almost everything you see in the vehicle mode here is paint, which is why it has such a nice look to it. Very unusual. Back then, they did that a lot, because a lot of the toys were made in a lot of clear plastic. But it does give them a very nice look now, doesn't it? Detail-wise, it's pretty standard, and they did a good job here. You can see the door handles are painted in. You can see the gas cap that's just barely molded in there, just deep enough to see. On the mirrors, there is a little bit of reflective surface, a little bit dusty on mine, but you can see it. So they did include that little bit of chrome just so it has that effect on both sides. A lot of chrome in the nice places here, like in the front. Here's the roll bar that's done up nice, and footboards down here, all done up in nice chrome. He's done really nicely. I really like the black trim around the windows too. Like they did not skip out on any of the details on him. Really dig it. Now the one detail that does raise a few eyebrows is that big Autobot symbol. The Car Robots release did not have that. That's something they did for the American market, and I assume because, well, they were trying to pull in a few of the collectors, a few of the old fans who are going, we want cars, truck not monkey, etc. So this is their big way of saying, hey, we're making cars again. Will you shut up now? And a lot of people did, but Transformer fans, we find reasons to keep shouting. Now, there are some fun details about this guy, too. For instance, there's his robot mode head. And for us in North America, yeah, that is on the correct side considering he was made in Japan. It was such an amusing detail back then. They don't do playful things like that anymore. You don't see it. But he's full of things like that. Also, if you want a little bit more, this is always so fun to pull up. Luckily, I keep my nails a little bit long. All chromed engine inside, way before alternators was doing this kind of thing. So that was actually kind of cool back in the day. He had some features of a real toy car. In fact, due to the way he transforms, and that's a little tightly pegged, so we'll go this side. Come on. There we go. The doors actually do open on both sides. This is kind of an accident of the transformation. But you know what? It actually comes across very well, because it works on both sides. I feel that this is completely intentional. So, that is a nice feature. What else I like about him is the weapon storage, because there are his weapons. They are done up with the chrome here on the side to be the kickboards. Let me get this tighten back up just really quickly here so I can show you this. In fact, look at that. Look at that. Rubber wheels. Isn't that amazing? So amazing my camera went out of focus there. It couldn't handle it, man. Oh man, these roll so nicely. I forgot how well rubber wheels roll. So that's vehicle mode. A lot more to talk about than I thought. So as long as the doors are popped, I guess we can start in on robot mode. He transforms a bit, and by that I mean he has a bunch of weapons we have to take off first. So we'll pluck all the weapons off of the base. Come on. Everything pegs in so tightly on this guy, which is a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. We open that up all the way, and we will also go ahead and split this rear end so we can start unfolding that, because the rear section is one big accordion on this guy. Not only do the legs accordion up, but so does his mid-torso, all in one like little block that fits behind into that vehicle mode shell. Come on, come on, come out. There we go. It's a little bit worrisome because that is a really tight little folding joint. We'll put that tire forward. We'll flip the feet up. And there we go. That'll form the legs. We go back up here. Get this arm, which... This one's really tricky, because all of the RID Autobot Brothers had some trick to transforming. As you can see, his torso is going to completely rotate down as such, and that's going to give us our torso. Come on, I'm trying to get... That arm does peg in quite a bit. Once we unpeg it, we wheel that around. Speaking of wheel, flip that out. There we have his hand on one side. Fold this down, rotate. That gives us the hand on the other. And we will pop up that head that was so nicely peeking out at us in vehicle mode. After that, we rotate the backpack around so those peg holes are at the top. And there you go. That's X-Brawn in robot mode. And where I've really come to appreciate this one more than the others is in the asymmetry of it. It gives him a lot of personality. The fact that he has this one gigantic meat hook of a fist. Like, he was really committed to the left hook. Like, he really wanted that to do damage. It's an interesting way of dealing with a big load of bulk from vehicle mode. But you know what? It gives him character. It gives him a very unique look, and I do dig that. So, he works out well for me. I really like how much detail and paint goes into him, too. Here, I'll give you a close-up here. The head, looking very good. It's a little bit plain. You know, 2 eyes, mouth plate, and all that. But it's got some uniqueness to it. It's asymmetrical. A little thing on top, which I guess call it a scanner, or call it a, I don't know, call it a camera, I don't care. It's your imagination. Do with it whatever you want. The chest, lots of paint, lots of molded detail in there. Really like the faux engine in the chest as well. All the way down. Like, you can even see in the legs where everything got a little bit of paint, a little bit of love. Red knees, still silver on the underside. A lot going on. The one detail that is odd, he does have a bicep curling arm with a big hole in the fist, which we will get to here momentarily, because this guy does have a lot of little tricks to him. For instance, take a look at the fist on the left. Now, you see how nicely shaped that is with the thumb in the front, which is kind of unconventional, like overlapping the 2 fingers, just like a normal human fist would. That is so this can rotate up. From there, we will take what used to be the roll bar, or the brush guard, rather. Yeah, I know. I'm not a car guy, okay? So, don't blame me. We'll put that in his hand, and then we will close the thumb back around it. And that holds that blade weapon very nice and tight, and it's a really cool thing. Like, I really wish they did that more often, because it's actually really effective at holding on to the weapon, and looks nice in the process. No big hole going through in some weird angle. It can be held at a few other angles here, but just to demonstrate, yeah, it holds on, and it holds on very tightly. Like, it's extremely good at its job. And that leaves the other 2 weapons. Now, the neat thing about those is they do store up at the top, and they stick out like these giant wing antennae, which is a little bit weird. But you know what? Whatever. This was kind of a weird look, but I kind of, as a kid, got used to it. I might have those backwards because it's been a long time since I had those there. But, whatever. Aside from just being the footboards in the vehicle mode, they also form onto the hand as missiles because there is a launcher gimmick in the right hand. And as you can see, probably the least aerodynamic missile in Transformer history. If he could hit anything with this, I would be absolutely amazed. I think as a kid, I just imagined it being some weirdly shaped blaster, and the fact that it could fire off was just incidental. I much preferred the bladed weapon anyway. Big hatchet blade, a little bit of tooth there for grinding in the metal. Very nice. That's a much preferred look for me. And hey, we can actually rotate the hand down, and it actually still looks okay. There we go. And speaking of, articulation on him, and this is what RID was known for, very good. Both shoulders have a good range of motion, though the right one, because of a cut ball joint, much better than this one, which does have a ball joint, but is kind of limited because of all the parts needed for vehicle mode transformation. Elbow-wise, over here, it's a ball joint, so lots of room. Over here, it's a hinge, which in a weird way actually allows a little bit more range in the elbow. It does collide with parts here and there, but you can adjust it. So it's kind of weird. The shoulder has less, but the elbow has more. The head does ball joint, left and right, and it can go up a little bit thanks to the transformation. The waist you'd think would work because it was on a ball joint before, but nope. Can't hold a position. Very good hips. Very nice cut on those. And the knees also have a decent range, and you can cheat the transformation to get a little bit more out of them as well. And since the feet fold down, that does give you a little bit of balance if you need it by flexing them back inward. So behold, RID X-Brawn in his green and gray glory. This is really nice figure. Like we just talked about on the WTF at TFW podcast, these toys that you bring down from your shelves and forget how much you like them. And transforming him back to vehicle mode for this review, I really did get some warm fuzzies about how I used to play with this toy. It was absolutely awesome back in the day, and it's still a really cool toy. So there you go. That is my favorite of the RID Autobot Brothers, and I'm sure not the last one I'm going to talk about. And that means I will probably eventually talk about all three, which means I have to transform Sideburn at some point. So stay tuned in about 6 years when I get around to that.